Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign presents Attraction for Mate Selection with special guest Princella Clark. Broadcast November 26, 2019. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, murder, theft, and all forms of atrocity that plagues the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater or much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, black people. This is Chaos here, and tonight this is a very special broadcast. Unlike the usual broadcasts I've done over the weekend, that y'all know, accustomed to what weekend I do a broadcast every, I believe, Sunday, most likely. But before we go to tonight's subject, I would like everybody to go to TalkRealSolutions.com. In TalkRealSolutions.com, you'll see 3-point plan for Black Empowerment, Black Achievement. And under the 3-point plan, you'll see a list of black established-owned banks located here in the United States of America. I believe there's still a total of roughly 30 banks still existing here, and they're located in some parts here in this country. So if you want to know more information or find where your black bank is located, you can go directly to the website itself, talkwellsolutions.com, where we have the list of the black-owned banks. And if you have a bank account on one bank establishment, it wouldn't hurt putting some of your money into the other banking institutions here in America that so-called black-owned. So, always, invest in a black-owned bank today. You can. Also, on TalkRealSolutions.com, you'll see the later articles that deals with politics, maybe some things on history or current events. That's also listed in the website as well. including a donation tab if you want to donate wherever you feel the show's contributed. You could donate straight through the website itself. So don't be hesitant and donate to Talk Real Solutions. We really appreciate it. Also, you'll find this show and many other shows on YouTube as well. You could type in Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to Talk Real Solutions on YouTube, don't be hesitant to hit that subscribe and that notification bell. As you know, the notification bell has been re-engineered now, where depending which you choose, depends how often you get notification when the show goes live or any upload that's being present on here on YouTube on Talk Real Solutions. So pick wisely, on what you want, depending how often the traffic you get when we go on live on Talk Real Solutions. And also, you can find my show as well, Chaos Reign, YouTube as well. Same thing applies. You can subscribe to the channel and hit the same 3 notification bells. Like I said, depending where you pick, how often I send an upload or when I go live as well on my channel. So pretty much that's all I'm going to lay out for y'all for tonight. Now, for no further ado, tonight's subject. And I see a bunch of people in the chat room. What's up, Gab? T.R.S. presents Attraction for Mate Selection with my guest, Princella Clark. As you know, this is her first time, and she is also a Facebooker and I believe a YouTuber as well here. So, but I'm going to let her explain herself better than I can explain. So, Princella Clark, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to Talk Real Solutions, Princella. Good to have you on.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, yes, yes. And, before we always proceed to the subject ahead, I always, like any person that's a guest on Chaos Reign, we always like to take a step back in time before we could understand the present and potentially the future. So if you don't mind telling people that's listening for the first time on Talk Real Solutions a little bit about yourself.
Okay, a little bit about myself. Okay, well, I'm a mother and I'm married, and I've been a cultural critic or commentator for the last 4 or 5 years. I studied biological sciences at LSU in Shreveport. And, I have a lot of different experiences that give me the privilege or the capability to speak on a variety of topics, specifically dealing with human nature and social norms and sociology and psychology.
Okay. Excellent. Princella, you also a military person as well. I take it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What branch do you serve?
I was in the Army, 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. And the reason why I ask is because the main people that be as guests, a few of them, including the host himself, Tyron Thompson, which you're familiar with, he also served in the military as well for over 20 years now.
Oh, that's great.
He's a retired vet as well. So, I have a lot of people that serve this country, and not just serve, but they gain a repertoire of skills, as well.
Right.
Not only better their life, but, just in general, to what they'll do to better themselves as an individual. Because the Army, I've learned, and I learned from other Army persons like Cerulean and Charles, that the military does build character and it builds certain sense of discipline that a good portion of our people very lack, especially the males, especially if they're only raised by, if the household's not stable,
Right.
And they're missing that integrity to be disciplined, So I always harp that, for any person to have boys, if you don't have the male that you feel is suitable or that's there that's going to play its role to balance out your son, the next best step is to put him into male dominant space and include the military. The better, growth.
Right. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on to the subject. And to be honest with you, Princess, I forgot to ask you this a few days before dealing with this topic, because you said there was articles on it. I should have looked at them first before talking, but it's fine. We can still talk about it, free flying with this, In regards to my name was it. I screwed up. You did a stream on this on your own channel, and like I said, people, I'll tell you where to find her at the end of this live stream. So don't worry, y'all get that. In regards to attraction and everything or nothing, for the mate selection. Mm-hmm. So, in regards to this selection, do you feel that a good portion of people, the males and females amongst our community, that they don't really know what they want in regards to mate, or they do know, but they don't want to deal with things that's uncomfortable in regards to picking that mate that will better facilitate their life moving forward?
See, the challenge comes here is biology is what chooses your mate. Okay. That's the part that people don't get. You as a human being don't get to pick what you're attracted to. You don't select that. That's something that's that's a part of a biological wiring as well as subconscious programming on a psychological level. So when you're attracted to something, people don't know why they're attracted to it. They're just drawn to it. So here is where the problem comes in. Is people are wanting the people they're drawn to, that they're attracted to. They want them to be a specific type of person that they've created in their mind, which is problematic, because the people who actually who are actually right for them, who are actually compatible and everything, these people are not drawn to them. So this is where you have the uphill battle as far as conscious mate selection. Most people are unconsciously selecting their partners because biology is doing it for them.
Okay. That makes sense. The outconscious way, the conscious. You think that's a good or bad thing to, let's say, a man or woman, let's say they're in their late 20s going 30s. You feel that should be a driving factor for them if they have not really, let's say if they want to look for a mate for long term and settle down? So that's my question. Besides the ones that still find themselves, but let's say people are approaching, like, they're hitting like that age now where, they should be, or, settle down or look to settle down, like if they're approaching late 20s, 30s. You think that should be really a driving force? Or, people start to... Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Should and shouldn't is based on what we prefer to be the case. The reality is that if it's nothing is good or bad, the thing is what is your preferred outcome? What is it that you want to happen? Okay? Based on that, there are certain things that you have to do to get the outcome that you want. So let's say you want the outcome, let's say you want the answer to equal 4. Well, there are certain things that you have to do to set up a problem to get your answer to be 4. Now, you don't have to just say 2 plus 2. You can say 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and you still end up with 4. You can actually do 2 times 2 to end up with 4. You can do 5 minus 1 to end up with 4. There are multiple ways to get the outcome that you want. The question is what is the outcome that you want? So if you are searching for a relationship and you want to settle down with somebody, The reality is you're going to have to take into account that what you're biologically and psychologically drawn to that is driving your attraction, 9 times out of 10, that's not the person that you need to settle down with for your ideal outcome. So if you want somebody who is attentive, who cares for you, who treats you differently than you've ever been treated before, this is very important, because another part, I mentioned biology and psychology. How does psychology fit into this? Okay. Psychology also has a place in attraction. And a lot of times people are attracted to toxic things because of their upbringing. Okay? They have been introduced or brainwashed to believe that a certain characteristic is that of a man or a woman or whatnot. And when you're constantly around a certain type of people, you begin to desire that type of person. So subconsciously, people are programmed to be drawn to toxicity. So if you're drawn to a certain toxic trait in a person, and at the same time you're wanting a person who's compassionate, let's say you're drawn to the character traits of a narcissist, but in your mind you want a person that's going to be attentive, who takes your feelings into consideration, who listens to you, you cannot get into a relationship with the person that you're attracted to psychologically, because a narcissist does not have the capability to listen to you. He doesn't have the desire to listen to you. So your outcome is not going to be what you want it to be. So in essence, you're going to have to get somebody that you're not psychologically attracted to. You're going to have to get somebody different. But people, it becomes a difficult thing to do, because we humans, we don't operate consciously. We operate subconsciously. Everything that we do is subconscious programming. And what do I mean by subconscious programming? We're on autopilot. You don't have to think about a lot of the things that you do, and it's easy and effortless to do. Conscious thinking requires a lot of effort, a lot of self-discipline, a lot of work hours. If a person is going to go against their subconscious programming, it's going to require a lot of work ethic. It's going to require a lot of discipline and a lot of man hours to go against the nature. So most people settle for what they're attracted to and try to force the people they're attracted to be their ideal person, and it always, 9 times out of 10, fails.
Yeah, it fails. Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing with human nature, whether we want to believe or not, we don't like to fail at anything, especially if we, most men, if they want that certain dime piece, that hot chick, on the average, they're going to pursue that, what they call, quote, unquote, close to 10 chick. And depending how he approaches women, it can be intimidating for some dudes, but some dudes that real for the challenge, they don't mind if, they approach her and she might look him head down and might reject her. But it's okay, because he has the confidence to really, because that's what he wanted, because it's something like an ideal. I'll say, if any woman I'm going to deal with, she has to look bad. She has to be like top of the top. And one thing I would say, as you know, because you watch social media and other things that's going on around here, you hear a lot of these dudes talk about, the women that they can get or they can't get. The ones that even give these labels non-select or select type of men. And right there, when they use these labels to put what they are, they already defeated, in my opinion. Because before I came around and really analyzed it as a whole, there was no such thing as a select and non-select mate that I ever heard of. I could be wrong because, you know, we probably much almost the same age, maybe roughly, I might be a little older. And I never heard this type of rhetoric until I came across certain spaces. You know? Usually I thought if you carry yourself a certain way and you present yourself, if the woman will sit there and will, you know, be not attracted, but if she finds you that there's something in you that she likes, she will give you the time of day, you know. And if she doesn't, you know how women do. They'll just either lie or they'll keep real with you and say, well, I'm not interested, you know. And I think the fear of rejection with a lot of males, they just don't like to hear. And I come across older black men, and one thing he told me, he doesn't like his feelings or like to be around or what he perceives as rejection. But that's a part of life. Not everyone's going to be accepted. You're going to be rejected somehow, you know. And I'm not afraid of rejection per se, but as I'm a little bit older now, it comes with the territory, depending on what you're doing. And like you said, maybe some men, if you're not getting that top dime piece, maybe doubling down may be the next best thing, especially if you're seeking for something long term. To keep it fair.
Right, but see, even with the guys, they do the same thing that the female does.
Okay.
The guy is attracted to a certain type of female, and in his mind, he wants the baddest woman to be monogamous, sexually exclusive to him, and housewife material. But that ain't how it works the majority of the time. It's just not how it works. You can't be attracted to a quote-unquote dime piece, all right, someone who everybody wants staying there, and then expect that if you get this person is going to become some homely, exclusive, out-of-the-limelight person. The majority of time, it does not operate that way. So biological attraction, 9 times out of 10, and this it proves it in the marriage rates, it proves it in the divorce rates, it proves it in how long relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend. The majority of the time, the people that you're biologically drawn to, your relationships don't work out. The majority of the time. You know.
Wow.
And when I tell people that you should select somebody that you're not attracted to, they automatically assume that you're telling them to get with somebody who's butt ugly or repulsive. This couldn't be further from the truth. Just because you are not attracted to a person doesn't mean that person is ugly. Example.
Okay.
I find Justin Timberlake highly attractive person.
Okay.
I am not attracted to white people. I'm not attracted to white guys. But there are so many attractive, sexy, fine white men out there. I'm just not attracted to them, but I can say, hey, they are sexy. So at the end of the day, just because you are not attracted to a person doesn't mean they are ugly. So maybe you should get with someone who's not typically your type. You might be attracted to light skin, light eyes, a certain body type. That's what you are biologically drawn to. But personality-wise, compatibility-wise, this person just might not be for you. Maybe the slender, dark-skinned chick that don't have wavy hair, who is also attractive, that you're not attracted to, maybe that actually is the person that is more qualified and more compatible with you.
You know, I never thought of that. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I like that. Let me give a call number. The call number for tonight's show is 770-4160. The access code 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, Chaos Rain presents Attraction for Mate Selection with my guest, Princella Clark. You know, it's ironic that you said that because a lot of people, and I think, what's her name, did content heavily on this in regards to relationship between black men and non-black women, that you hear these dudes say that they are somewhat attracted, well, they say this is their preference, but when we think about this preference, everything is programmed. Because the side we live in, we are subconsciously being similarly programmed to what is to like, what dislike, what to say, what not to say. You know, right. And we don't really conceptualize it, but this is how very much programming is done. And people don't understand media is a very powerful tool. It can either educate you or it could even put you in deeper enslavement if you're not careful, because it gives you the perception of what is reality. And like me, I mean, I don't really own or watch regular TV for almost a decade now, or close to a decade. But right. As I know, when I disconnect, and you probably disconnect as well, I'm not sure, because I'm only going to speak for myself, is that I start to look at the world a little differently, and then I do certain things different. Like when I was, watching TV or, just indulge in leisure, I find other things right. occupy my time. And one of the things that I did differently now is I started to look for content that is something that's different, that's not unheard of. So I come across certain information, which I already knew years ago before I started watching TV completely, but I started to look into it more. And I find a plethora of information about not only our history, but just the science aspect of it. And I think one good book that started to open my eyes a little bit, that I never told people this, I might have told this in previous shows, was a book titled Black Root Science. And it was written by, I think it's an African man. I'm not sure if he's from this country. He might be from Botswana, maybe. But he wrote a book, and he gave out the whole entire science for our people. And the way how it was structured and written, it was like a question and answer question. And he goes into the science part in certain chapters. But going through that book alone, it kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of what we could do and we can't do. And just in general. So after going through that book, I started to seek out more information about not only that book, but just other books, and really to see what else is. And lo and behold, I find countless information that I did not learn and probably did not learn when we were growing up. And now it makes us look at this reality totally different. That, and I would say this, and most people don't understand. If you have children or you're a parent yourself, if you can, I would advise everybody to look into the psychology piece. Understand it, look at how the mind really works. Because everything we do is a constant program. And the program that they keep pushing on us is to make us not only perpetual consumers, but to easily control your movements. So I don't know if you want to expound on what I said or something different.
Oh no, you hit the nail on the head, all the way.
Yeah.
All the way.
So like I said before, in regards to mate selection and stuff, most of our people, especially men, we're going to have to probably look into things that doesn't make us comfortable or what we seem attracted. If we're serious to really, settle down and, have that family that they always yearn for. Because I know a lot of black men, they say how black women is this and that. And I get it, but I don't really get it because at the end of the day, I came through two black parents, and I cannot see any different because I was raised with stability, at least. Me and my other families were raised with stability. And I cannot phantom say, why would I want to take my precious essence, my lineage, my seed, or something, and try to dilute it with some other ethnic group of people that does not know the same struggle not only I go through, but as a collectively go through. I mean, and the funny thing about that, a lot of men out here, is that you have to submit your will to another race of people. If you're, say, you're casually dating out or you're going outside the fence or outside your race, you cannot be yourself with these non-black people. Somebody has to dumb me down. I'm not sure if you experienced or you've heard this yourself from your own experience, Princella, but I see a lot of people, like, even the men, when they went in these relationships with non-black women, they have to be less of themselves, that they got to be a complete different person to make this mate feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
Not only the men, and not only the men, the women do this too. The women do this too. So it's not like the men are the only ones doing it. It's both of us. Because you cannot be a person, let's say if you're a sister and you're dating this non-black man, and you see the travesties or truths that happen to you amongst your community by not only in your race but other races of people, and you do not be vocal and it doesn't bring to the household as a problem, you know? Because it bothers you psyche, because you're this skin, he's this skin, and if you get through a situation, what can this mate do for you? You know? Are they going to tell you to shut and deal with it? I mean, that's a bad way of living if you're in these relationships. You know? The stress, and the funny thing about it, well, a lot of sisters that say that they are messing with outside the race, I always say, okay, so you doubling down, or wherever you say you're messing with this non-black person. That means that everything you try to seek your comfort as women, it should be absolute. But what I'm finding out is not what it seems to be. They're doing the same things like they were in a normal relationship if they were a brother. But the only difference is they got to submit their will. You know? They got to work. They got to do more. They're not like having that Leave the Beaver or that, those old TV shows, reality.
Right.
That's not the case with a lot of sisters. And they're not really telling the real truth. And even let's say if they're getting abused by their non-black mates, right? I mean, it's expected because you're not part of them, and this is their culture. You know? Well, you know that is part of their thing to abuse women. But you're not going to accept that because, think about it. European women in this country did not get no rights till black people got rights, especially black men and women. And they've been in this country a good long time. It's only when we start getting rights that you hear them start asking for their rights. But I thought you were all in one with your man. Why do you need more rights? You got the fruits and labor of this country. Oh, because there's something wrong in your household that you like, and you want to be the head honcho, or what we want to assume as the main boss. So, you get me?
Right.
And they see our relationship and say, how are these black men so submissive to their black counterpart, female? I mean, women. We want that, but they forgot to say in this culture, when it comes to black, regardless we want to admit or not, and we don't really think about it, we're people that we try to seek balance. You know, it might not seem like perfect balance, but when you're a black person, man and woman, you want to be in a place where there's nothing too bad or too great. It has to be in an even playing field. You know?
Right.
Because constantly, we don't meditate and do it, but that's what we feel. Because you can tell how most women say they can't be around certain space because it bothers them. You hear the stories, but go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
Life is about balance. The best place to be and the most comfortable place to be is in a balanced situation. You know, and too much of anything is bad. Too much water can kill you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So too much power, too much control, too much domination in the hands of one person can be a bad thing. And the fact of the matter is, if everybody is chasing to be in a dominant position so that they can imbalance or go to the other extreme that they're experiencing. So whether it's a male or whether it's a female, too much power in the hands of one person is just bad. You know? You know, and so that's just where it is. And so You know, if people sought balance, if the male sought to balance out and the female sought to balance out, more relationships would be better. If people bowed down, if people were to truly bow down to how biology operates and stop fighting against biology, things will work out better. You know who has the best relationships? Polyamorous people have better relationships than anybody else.
Okay.
You know why? Because because their setup does not go against biological nature.
I know that. Interesting.
But everybody else's setup goes against biological nature, which causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why you end up with a lot of dudes cheating is because the biological nature of him is to want variety for procreation purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When you try to stop that, then you end up with problems. But vice versa. The female is also not a monogamous creature.
Yeah.
And when you try to stop her biological nature, you also end up with problems. So people who are in polyamorous relationships have the most healthy setup because they don't attempt to go against biological nature.
It's funny you mentioned that. I had a good conversation with my other friend, I think it's on Facebook, Miss Oasis King, and she told me about, her own experience. And she did mention about the polyamorous where, some women also have the ability to want variety as well, especially if a male is not suiting the necessary needs. And, always men must understand when we have communication with our mates, communication is very vital. And that's one thing we take away from when we're in these relationships. We're not communicating, I think, not effective enough, And we just lay it all out before we say to make this relationship go forward and stuff. It will probably cut down 99% of the problems we have amongst our communities,
Right.
Because, that's where it all breaks down, lack of communication. That's the number one killer that hurts a lot of us. I mean, a lot of us don't want to hear what they really want. And let's say, and personally, Princella, with all marriage in America, it's not just the infidelity causes the end. It's usually finance as a top thing. So, like any man, and a lot of men don't want to admit this because they don't see the importance of it. And I know the world is a struggle. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, fellas. So listen to me good. We as men, we have to figure out how to even deal with the finance part of not only ourselves but as a collective. Because when men are organized, we can get that situated much faster than if it's said ourselves individually.
The problem with
go ahead.
A lot of the problem with marriages is not even so much the finances itself.
Okay.
It's the belief behind the marriage or behind what marriage is that influences how the finances operate. So in the end, it looks like it's a financial problem, but it's actually a mindset problem that manifests itself in the form of jacked up finance. Okay? So what do I mean? People go into marriage a lot of times with a fairy tale ideal about what marriage is. They believe they're going in to build something together, and the first thing they get is debt. They go into marriages to have weddings, which are expensive, to bring out this fairy tale that they have in their mind. Then they go get a house, which is more debt. Then they go get a car, which is more debt. And what is it they're doing? They are trying to manifest their ideal or their belief of what a marriage is supposed to look like. And in the end, since they didn't go into marriage looking at it as a business, but more of a fairy tale setup, what happens is now your financial problems are manifested based on your thought process going into it. By the time you realize what's going on, it's too late. You're in mountains of debt. You didn't think about the effects of doing these things, and so now when somebody loses their job or the economy, something happens in the economy, you weren't prepared for it because you didn't go into the marriage thinking of it as a business. How many people focus on how much a ring costs to get married? If a person is wanting an expensive ring going in, there's a strong chance that that person is not who you want to be in a marriage with.
Wow.
Because that person does not have any understanding of financial literacy or
financial responsibility,
or the fact that a marriage is a business. If she is basing the marriage on how good or how expensive a ring is, it is very, very telling sign. A lot of guys don't even think about that going in.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a lot of stuff that's not even thought about. Again, so it's not the finances that are the problem, because the problem only manifests itself in the form of finances. The problem was there before it became an evident financial problem. It's just like cancer. Okay, let's take mesothelioma or something like that.
Okay.
You have Johnson & Johnson coming under fire because people are getting ovarian cancer for using Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Mm-hmm. Now, the cancer is not the problem. The cancer manifested itself based on the problem to begin with. The problem happened long ago, which was these chemicals entering the body that weren't supposed to be entering the body and covering up the ovaries little bit over time. That was the problem going in. So now your manifested problem is cancer. Cancer wouldn't have happened had you known what the problem or the results or the side effects of doing what you were doing prior to getting the cancer. Had you known that before, you wouldn't have ended up with cancer. So cancer ain't the problem. It's the stuff that you did before the cancer got there that's the problem. So it's the same thing with the finances. The finances ain't the problem. It just manifested itself in the form of a financial problem. Had you gone in knowing the side effects or the potential outcome of the things that you were doing before the actual problem manifested, you wouldn't have that problem. So that's the reason why marriages don't work a lot of the time outside of fidelity issues. Because here's the thing. If more polyamorous people don't understand. I'm certified under the impression that humans do not understand there is no such thing as perfection. Zero.
Yes.
Every choice that you make is going to have a con to it. There is nothing that you are going to do on this earth, no decision that you are going to make that is not going to have something attached to it that you don't like. So what do I mean? Being in a monogamous relationship has its pros and it has its cons. And the pros of being in an actual monogamous relationship, yay. There are no paternity questions. Check. Okay, she's actually monogamous, so there are no paternity questions. That's a good thing for the guy and her and the baby. All right. There are no outside diseases. That's a pro. All right. You focus. You can build a better relationship with each other because you focus on each other. That's a pro. So what are the cons to you begin to drain the person that you're with. You begin to drain the person that you're with because that person can't give you every single thing. So now you have to compromise yourself and give up some parts of yourself that are actually a part of you. And if you can't do that, you begin to become miserable in yourself because you can't have the free outside experience that you really want, because there's so many rules and so many restrictions that come in with wanting one person to be your all. So if a woman is having to be the all in a monogamous relationship, guess what? That means she got to do all of the housework by herself most of the time. Mm-hmm. She has to raise all of the kids by herself most of the time. That means she forgoes a life if you have to be in a monogamous relationship where you're playing this traditional male gender role thing. There is a con to that. And to show you how much of a con it is, what's the divorce rate like?
I think the divorce rate right now, it's like the marriage rate in America, particularly for us, is just around 30%. I would say the divorce rate might be over 70%. I could be wrong.
It's high. It's high. And you do know that women cheat just as much as men in these marriages.
Yeah. I've been hearing about that.
Because here's the thing. If monogamy was natural for a woman, here's the thing. This is another part that people don't understand. You don't have to force people to do something that's natural for them to do. You only have to force people to do something that's unnatural for them to do.
Okay.
You only have to force people to do what don't come naturally to them. Okay?
Okay.
What comes natural? When you're sleepy, you sleep, right?
Yep.
You don't have to force nobody to go to sleep when they're sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to force a person to get up when they're sleepy.
Yeah.
You do have to force yourself to get up out of your bed when you feel tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That requires a great amount of discipline, because discipline is not a natural human quality, because you have to go against
your natural biology.
You have to go against yourself. And going against the grain is not easy.
Mm.
So if women were naturally monogamous by nature, you wouldn't have to force them to be in monogamous relationships. A father in different countries, you wouldn't have to stone women losing their virginity. Virginity is not a natural concept.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Celibacy is not a natural concept.
Mm-hmm.
You have to force somebody to be a virgin for a long time. There are anomalies where you have a 50-year-old virgin. That is a rarity, because the majority of people do not have self-discipline to go against their biological nature. So when you find somebody that goes against nature, these are rare people. CEOs of major companies, these are rare people, because they consistently go against nature to do things in a structured manner. So men would never have a problem with women if women were biologically wired and naturally monogamous.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where you come in with the cons of setting up marriages or these relationships, people can't go against their nature. So you always going to have people breaking the boundaries of this fictitious ideal that you create. Because what a male typically believes is that if he marries a woman, he truly believes that her nature should go out the window. If I work, you got to understand, if he works and is gone the majority of the time, he believes that that woman should be perfectly okay sitting in the house by herself being a housewife. You have guys who really think this. Yeah. That's all of her desire for human contact to go out the window because I'm making money. Nature ain't got nothing.
Wait, hold on. Princella, you there? Describe yourself. Let me give the call number. The call number for tonight's show, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-41#. I repeat. Oh, damn. All right, everybody. She's back. Oh, I got
okay. All right. So nature has zero to do with money. Nature didn't create money. Humans created that concept to regulate how they did business. So to think that just because you go out and get something man-made that it should alter the biological behavior of a human being is illogical and irrational thinking. Just because you go and you make money and provide for the house, that is not going to stop the need for human contact. Biology don't go away just because you're making money. So this is where another dynamic, this is how you end up with cheating wives, because human contact is still needed. You know, so there are pros and cons. Why is polyamorous a better setup? Polyamorous is a better setup in regards to not governing the biological nature of a human being. What is the cons? Yeah, you might expose yourself to diseases. That is a con. You might get pregnant and not know which person is the daddy. However, here's where the pro comes in with a polyamorous relationship. Typically, in a polyamorous relationship, both guys are willing to be the father of the child. If you look into polyandrous cultures where women have more than one husband, all of the husbands, they don't care who actually fathered the child. They all go in knowing that all of them are the father, whoever get a place. I mean, that's literally how they operate. So there are more than one way. Just like I remember I told you, if you want the outcome to be 4, there are multiple mathematical setups that you can use to get your answer to be 4. That's the same thing in life. If you want a certain outcome, it's multiple ways to get that outcome. And it doesn't have to just be one way. So if you want a healthy relationship, you can have a healthy relationship as your outcome, and you can do it by way of monogamy. It can be done. You can do it by way of polygamy. It can be done. You can do it by way of polyamory. It can be done. Okay. The question is at the end of the day, what risks are you willing to take? Which ones are you willing to take, and which ones can you not take? You know?
Okay. So it's like a risk with a sense of reward. And you got to know what's laid out. And if once you understand the greater risk that you could proceed.
Correct.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think I can argue on that because there are many ways to look at it. And in regards to, even now with when you mentioned cheating wives, yeah, that's not, normally that is what's going on with a lot of women that, let's say, have a man that sit there bringing home the bacon, and she's up here by herself. And on the average, because the biological need, yeah, I see that very much a possibility. I ain't going to knock you on that. Let me, I think we have somebody raise their hand. So let's see who wants to question. All right, let me get a call in one more time for those who are listening. The number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 91541#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents Attraction for Mate Selection with my guest, Princella Clark. So the first caller open up. Hello, caller. Are you there? I open your line.
Yes. This is Big J speaking. I'd like to ask the guest a question on do you believe that men or women or men should just drill away all inhibitions and just do what nature dictates? Is that what?
Okay. Do I think that people should just do what nature dictates and get away with all of the, I guess, the rules that society came up with as far as what a relationship should be or is supposed to be? Again, I say that things are about balance, because I don't believe as humans who are aware of the dysfunction in reality should be completely ungoverned and just run completely wild. However, I do believe that in certain aspects of mental health and individual fulfillment, that we definitely should get rid of the boxes that prevent us from being fully developed human beings. So yes and no. I don't believe that we should. Let me back up just a little bit, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to bring the Bible in here. Just let people know I am not a Bible thumper. I'm not a Christian. I do believe that this book is allegorical, and so I want to break something down to people and give it to you in a different perspective, so you can see what I mean when I say these things. At the beginning, you had Adam and Eve, who ended up getting kicked out of the garden. Most people believe that they got kicked out of the garden because they disobeyed God and ate from the tree of knowledge, which made them smart. That couldn't be further from the truth or the reality of what the allegory was saying. The allegory of Adam and Eve was based in this specific saying right here. Ignorance is bliss. That was what this allegory was talking about. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance means the lack of knowledge of something, the lack of awareness. So, in the Garden of Eden, which was paradise, which was perfect, what that actually was a bliss of the lack of awareness of nature. Because, see, nature, the animals kill, murder, killing, rape, incest, all of this stuff happens in nature amongst animals. Adam and Eve were completely oblivious to this nature, right? To this reality. But when they ate from the tree of knowledge, they became aware of nature. This is why when they became aware and they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, which was paradise, they got kicked out into a quote-unquote world of sin. This quote-unquote world of sin is the awareness of what your nature really is. That's why when they saw themselves naked, He's like, how you know you naked? You now see what you really are. You see that you have a dark side of being human. So you have humans. It is a biological, here's the thing. We are aware that the biological nature of a male is to be sexually attracted to what's visibly appealing, and it don't even matter if that visibly appealing thing is a 12-year-old. We have become aware of this rough, ungoverned nature that we were created in. We didn't fall from glory to sin. We was in it. We were made in this reality. So now the awareness of this, we see that we have to somehow govern this human nature that's a part of us. We can't run from it. You have to govern. How do you end up getting people raping 12 and 13-year-old kids? It's easy because it's in their nature. And we see it, and we don't know how to govern that which is actually a part of the animalistic part of us. So I do not believe that since we are aware that we can operate completely in an ungoverned biological nature, because as you see what happens when you operate in that, you end up with a bunch of chaos that's designed by nature to be that way. So, yes, we do have to have some type of cap on human behavior. So there is a good thing for setting up boundaries in marriages and such, but we have to understand what limits can we go? Are we okay with you just running around? Okay, we're in a polyamorous relationship. You can go sleep with 50 people a different night if you want to, unprotected. It doesn't matter, and then you can come back and bring me diseases that's going to mess up my life. Is that the way you want to operate? Or can you have a healthy polyamorous relationship to say, hey, listen, I'm not going to try to govern what you're attracted to. However, give me the respect, okay, to at least get these people tested for any diseases, at least wear a condom, at least introduce me to the people that you plan on being with so I can make a decision in myself if this is something that I want to do. You can have these boundaries. So I do believe that we should get rid of societal constructs in a more healthy manner that allows humans to fulfill who they are as individuals without harming somebody else.
I could somewhat agree with your assessment, but at the same time I don't, because men, because you said though that there are societies that are polyamorous, right? So my question. Yeah. Okay. Then my question to you is: are such societies? Are those societies? Are they successful? Because as far as I can tell, they're not, because men by nature want his own bloodline, and that, if a woman is sharing two men, he wants his own bloodline to succeed, right? So I think that's going to be a conflict if she's sharing two men. The male nature and female nature.
Well, that's a limited thought process from your perspective. See, we have to put things in perspective. Have you researched these countries and why they have it set up in the way that they have it set up? I'm sure you have not. So before
okay. Go ahead.
Before you make commentary on such a setup, you would have to go and research the setup and the country as to why these things are happening, because at the end of the day, these countries have been operating like that for centuries. And yes, they are successful. Again, because here's the thing, let me put it like this. Success, what you deem as success is subjective, right? So what do I mean by this? What do I mean by subjective? If a person has a multi-million-dollar company and they have everything they want, they can buy anything they want. Is that success? Is it successful for a person to have that, but they ain't got no relationship with their kids? Their family hate them. They got a terminal illness that money can't get rid of. Is that actually success? On the outside looking in, oh, yeah, he got all of this money. He's successful, but this person is dying on the inside. His kids hate him.
Yeah.
Is that success?
Well,
no, it's not.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
I find.
Have you?
Big J, hold on. Let me say something. You know, what you said not only makes sense, but there are countless people that were millionaires. And I think one guy back in the 1800s, I think he ran steel. I'm trying to remember his name. You might know his name, Priscilla. Carnegie? Carnegie? Carnegie. Yeah. He had his money, but he was dying inside.
No, Andrew Carnegie, I'm sorry.
Andrew Carnegie, yep. He was one of them. And that's only one that came to my mind when I heard about the story about him. Let's say he had all this stuff, riches and wealth, but he was dying. And he felt that he was incomplete. You know, that something was missing.
Right. So we have to judge success based on. We can't judge success based on what we individually desire when we're looking at somebody else. When we look at somebody else.
When I was talking about success, I'm talking about on a societal level, not on a personal level.
Right.
I'm talking about because I was only talking in the aspect of society. And
in their society, because you got to understand, when you talk about society is not a one-size-fits-all. Each society is individual to that region. So the society in China ain't ours, ain't the society we have over here. On the outside looking in China, before China, the Chinese people were over there rioting and setting the bridges and stuff on fire, people in the United States were under the impression that China people got it made. The people that live in China hate the way Chinese operate. They hate it.
They hate their president.
Okay, then by your logic, therefore, you saying though, if we go by your polyamorous relationships, right? And so therefore you actually backed the 20-80 rule, or the 80-20 rule, where the top where 80% of women go for the top 20% of men. Therefore, though, you have a clash in society, and that's what's going on in China. But since that you mentioned China, that's what's going on in China, because of the crime rate in China is going up because women have more access. They're like 3 men to 1 woman. So therefore, though, crime is going up, and she's only going after because of hypergamy. She's going up to the top 20% and ignoring the bottom 80. But
here's the thing. This is the part of nature that people don't get. Here's the thing. No male is what is the word that I'm looking for? A woman is not a white to you. Like, I mean, it's not a white to you. So
a ward to you?
Here's the thing. It's not. You don't own women. If you can't get a woman, okay, it's not society's job to go hand pick her because you don't have one and give you one. That ain't how it's supposed to work, because, see, now what you end up with is oppression. So let's say, okay, well, our men, we don't have women, and it is not enough. First of all, China did that. China is the one who preferred male children. This is why I say the majority of the world is psychologically ill. People believe so much so that males are better than females that you literally had 2 countries that killed female children because they thought boys were better than girls. And now you have 70 million more men in China and in India than you do women. And because biology, because of biology and males having testosterone and the nature of a male and the nature of any animal, because if you go look at chimpanzees, this is why it's very important to know biology and biological nature. There's research that chimpanzees who are physically aggressive and exhibit rape tendencies pass on their genes more. Because at the end of the day, it is about genes, producing genes, and however you got to produce your genes, this is how it's being done in an ungoverned natural state, even amongst animals.
Okay. But now I'm glad that you said that because according to I think there's Robin. I'll save that for later. Alan Roger Curry. We save that for later. But if what you're saying is correct, then please tell me why in the Western society where you got straight heterosexual men dying of suicide, young men, there's an uptick. So because part of it is because of the lack of access to creating a family because there are too many big booty Brendas with Reed baby daddies, and he's not gonna get laid up with her ass any damn way because he can't, because he want to raise his own family. So I mean but it seems that you are I'm talking about in your argument that you are overlooking that.
No. See, this is where you're getting it twisted. You think I've chosen a side. Nowhere in my statements have I chosen a side. I said that there are multiple ways to skin a cat, and it's up to the individuals to choose the way they want it. However, there are pros and cons to whichever way you decide. So here's the fact of the matter is, just because you want a monogamous relationship and want a female to be monogamous, if that ain't in her nature, it ain't going down that way. Just like if a woman wants a specific man and wants to force him to be monogamous, chances are it ain't going to work that way. It don't matter what you want somebody else to do. What you need to do is get in a relationship with someone who sees life in the same manner that you see life. Find a woman that's okay. If you are a dude that don't want to govern your polygamous nature, find a female that's willing to be in a relationship and sit in the corner and govern her nature while you don't govern yours. Because there are chicks that will do it. Pimps are in relationships with chicks like this all the time. Pimps and hoes have this kind of setup. So it's like, so I'm telling you that everything on this planet is natural. If you're trying to govern things for your benefit, you're always going to run into a problem trying to control somebody else. That's the reason why China is in the predicament they're in, because of the control factors they have. You're always going to end up with rebellion if you're trying to control somebody. So polyamorous relationships are the best setup to reduce control. That's what I said. To reduce control.
But you just sit there and actually by you just saying that, you already picked the side, though. By you promoting polyamory.
No, sir. I am married. I am a married woman in a monogamous relationship with one child in wedlock. If I'm picking a side, I obviously, in my own life, am picking monogamy. So you cannot base my assessment on what is best set up for lack of control purposes with what I'm picking, because my life and how I'm living it shows you what side I've actually picked. Okay?
Then I humbly apologize. I hope you accept my apology then.
I do accept your apology. We have to understand that commentary, when you are a scientist observing outside, you don't put yourself inside of the observation. I'm not basing my opinions on my personal experiences. I am basing it on an assessment of how people in biology works. How I'm telling you, based on the way I'm looking at how people operate in monogamous relationships versus polyamory. Polyamorous relationships, these people operate in a lack of control of the other person. That is a fact. In monogamy relationships, most times people are going into monogamous relationships with the attempt to control and govern the other person's behavior. If you don't want to set up like that, polyamory is the best setup for reducing the control of another human being, because those relationships allow people to operate fully in themselves. That's the truth. Because if you are in a monogamous relationship, your partner is expecting you to be monogamous and avoid your biological nature. A woman in a monogamous relationship expects a man to not have eyes for any other woman, not be attracted to another woman, not act on his desires. That's exactly what they expect. And men expect the same thing out of women. 9 times out of 10, people are not going to go against their biological nature. And it shows you in the divorce rate, it shows you in the statistics where people are constantly cheating on their spouses. Mm-hmm. That does not exist in polyamorous relationships. That's just a fact.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing, Princess, because in regards to making this thing work, I say, and I'm going to say this again, what you want and what you're trying to get out of this, you know. And because the society is, and you know this personally, Princella, that we are programmed to view each other only when it comes to the bedroom. But at that, now, you know, to find out who we are is like, you know, there's question marks and even, you know, exclamation points. Say, huh? What? We only get together and then really come to something when it comes to the bedroom. But after that, it's non-existent. So when people don't know a concept of what they really want, and it goes to, you got to be honest of yourself. Do you want a relationship or you want sex? You know. And I remember one woman told me this one time. I kept real with her. I said I look at more than just the sex. But you know, when you get the right answer to the person, you keep it honest. Some people can't handle that. I mean, I think she didn't really handle it well. She really wanted something, you know, maybe more or whatever she, you know, and this is, I want to speak for myself.
Because in society, we are taught to be liars.
Yeah.
In society, we have always been taught to be liars, so people don't know how to be honest. Dudes will lie to get sex. Chicks will have sex to get relationships. They know that going into the only time the only time a female can engage in sex with no emotional attachment is if she's having one night stands. After the third, maybe even twice, but after the third or fourth time of engaging in sex with the same person, it begins to look like a relationship. A woman can definitely have a one-night stand with a guy, maybe even 2 nights, and not have no attachment. She can literally do that. It's the multiple amount of times of having sex with the same person over and over again that connects these women to these guys.
But saying that mix, most people don't want to really admit it. Sex can be dangerous because when we play with it, we cannot really disconnect the emotional side of it. The emotional side of it, because let's say you say that women could engage in a one-night stand and be. Okay.
Before you continue, remember I said at the beginning when we started this conversation, every single thing on the planet can be dangerous. Too much water is dangerous.
Yeah, you're right.
Anything on this planet can be dangerous.
Okay.
You know?
You're
Of course sex can be dangerous. There's a such thing called balance. When you get out of balance, you're going to create problems all the time. High blood pressure is bad, but so is low blood pressure.
Yep.
Okay, being on either extreme, being on any side of the extreme is a bad thing. You're always going to cause problems. The best place to be is right there in the middle. Have a little control, but not too much.
I agree. What else, AJ? What's on your mind?
Well, I like that. But since you were talking about men lying to get sex, what is your opinion on dating coaches? I mean, people like your Alan Roger Curry of Mold One and the beta male, the author of the beta male revolution. What is your analysis on these dating coaches now?
Okay, you brought up some names that I'm not familiar with. Can you, I guess, expound, kind of open up the question a little bit more? I guess, tell me about these people that you.
Alan Roger Curry is well known on these parts here, and he wrote the book called Mold One, and he also wrote the book called Ooh, I Did It Again, and then he also wrote a book called the Beta Male Revolution. So I just want to know, have you ever read? What is your analysis on dating coaches in general? That's all I got to say.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so as far as dating, because before I was married, I was in the market. Okay, all right, and from my perspective, my individual perspective, not over as a whole, I found that that the dating scene was filled with just a lot of deception and a lot of lies. Me, I'm a very, very, very straightforward person. I just don't. It takes too much energy for me to lie. It takes way too much energy for me to play a game. And so I found it very difficult in the dating scene to be successful without having to lie, without having to pretend to be something that I'm not. Okay?
Right.
And so I just didn't try in the dating market. And so here's what you have in the dating market. The majority of people in the dating market know they have to lie. That's just a fact. The majority of people in the dating market understand they have to lie. This is why I was displaced, because I didn't have time for lies and time for games. All right? So, for the female, she understands y'all's nature. Y'all are visual. You want some,
right.
Y'all not, the reality is, y'all ain't really interested in all that shit she got in her profile. All you care about is she cute. Am I gonna get the yams? Am I gonna get the bun? That's really your main focus. All right. So how does catfishing work? Simple. Be visually appealing. And a lot of guys don't like the reality that the female knows how you operate so much that they are so skilled at putting on a face for you. They have to lie. Well, that's biological nature of the female to be attractive, because the male is going to pursue her. Okay, this is just biological nature. We know this. The female or the male absolutely knows he also has to lie to get sex. Because if he don't lie and don't pretend to be something that he's not, chances are she's not going to be attracted to him. But it goes back to what I said about chimpanzees. You go back and look into the biological nature, and this is very important that we look at chimpanzees because chimpanzees are 99% related to human beings. They share 99% of our DNA. So how do they operate? Simple. The most successful male is the most aggressive one. Well, that's interesting because that tells you a lot about the female, the human female, why the asshole tends to get most of the female. There is a no-win situation in nature unless you know the rules and play it well. So if a male has to lie, when do you tell her the truth? It's easier to find out the truth of a female because she can't wear makeup all day. By the time after she fakes up her profile, when you meet her, it's going to be evident that she's lying right then and there. It takes a little bit more.
Well, from a man's perspective, I think it's not really the makeup; it's mostly her mannerisms. You know what's the how can I say it? The facade that she puts on for his attention or his I'll just say I'll be PG-13 right now for his attention. So that I'm just talking about from experience and what I have seen. Some women put out this aura of a facade that men thought that, oh man, I got the sure thing, but in reality, it's just a game to her.
Right, and I agree. There are women. See, I have more experience, and a lot of people never really understood why I talked more about men, because I have more experience around men than I do with females. Because I spent 8 years in the military. I mean, who you think in the military? I mean, yeah, you got women in there, but the majority of my platoon is men. I've spent three and a half years selling cars. I mean, who you think selling cars? I mean, you got women, but it's the majority men. So I've always been, and then I grew up as a tomboy. So, I mean, who you think I hung around? I didn't have female friends. So when it comes to what females are doing, I'm not really, but I know the thought process of a male for the most part. Now, because of that, a lot of guys looked at me as one of the fellas. I was never the one that, oh man, I can't wait to try to sleep with Princella. No, that was, they looked at
they
me
didn't get that vibe.
So they always talked around me like they would talk around other guys. Now, if you look at my picture, you was like, I can't believe it. If you look at my photos, you say, Princella, I don't believe you. Yes, it's true. Okay, but I wasn't that person, so they talked to me as if I was one of the guys. So I know how guys talk. I know these unfiltered conversations. I'm going to tell you how much they talked around me. They would tell me when they was cheating on their wives, and they would tell me who they was cheating with and when they did it. I had one, my manager, we was all just standing up there. I was the only female in there. It was a bunch of guys, and he was talking, well, you know what, man, I just, my wife's niece, she was at the house, and, she went to the store, and I fucked her niece while we was there. You know what I'm saying? Right there. So, like, it's not too much that a guy can say to me and think that he's going to sway my thought process of how guys operate, because I've been in these circles for years. So I know what's on. However, since I never really had no female friends, the only thing that I can do is observe how females are. So when it came to me in the dating pool, it was very difficult because I was never able to put on this facade that the females put on. See, I'm not the girly girl and, have all this sexuality just going, trying to draw guys. I'm a straight shooter. This is what you see is what you get. This is the blah, 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 blah. And that's just not attractive to guys. It's not attractive to y'all. So everybody is setting themselves up for disappointment because everybody is going for something that draws them biologically for sex. You're not going for what's more appropriate for building a relationship. You're going after what is sexually drawing you, which is probably the worst thing that people can do. It's not the most conducive for a healthy relationship where you have to govern finances, where you actually have to do business, where you actually have to manage your relationships. Sex and sexual attraction ain't gonna get it, But since everybody knows the rules of getting sex, that's all they focus on. The female knows what you got to do to get money out of a guy. All he wants is sex. All I got to do is be pretty. All I got to do is have all this sexuality flowing and be nice and dainty, and he'll get it. But eventually he'll get bored. Eventually your real personality is going to come out, and eventually he's going to realize that he wants more than that. But at that point, it's too late because now he's trying to make this person that he was drawn to become this person that he should have been trying to get in a relationship with. So we try to force people to be what we want them to be. Like, how illogical is it for a guy to see a woman in public dressed a certain way? This is how she's been rolling before she met you. But then when you get with her, all of a sudden you think she's supposed to cover up now and hide all of that beauty that you was attracted to. Like, how do we do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to know.
Jay, people now raising their hand. I have to take these lines. So you're gonna be patient. Can I ask like 2 questions and then I'll leave? No, you can't because we're
let him ask his question.
Well, before you ask a question, let me see who these people are. Then he'll ask his one question, and then you come back after the rotation. All right. Who's this? Open your line.
Hey, Gary.
All right, good. Hello, Yashua. Let me open that line. All right. Open your line. Who's this?
Yeah, this is facts. This is all facts.
Good. All right. Big J, you can ask one other question, and you have to come back during the rotation and ask the second one.
Right. I appreciate it, Gary. But hold on. So, what is your opinion? What is your opinion on demisexuals and I forgot the one. The one starts with the S. Sexuals. I mean, people who are sexually on intelligence. That's what demisexuals are. What's your opinion on that? Thank you.
Sapiosexuals. Okay. I'm actually a sapiosexual. And I think that's how I probably got into some bad relationships in the past, because I'm attracted to intelligence. Now, here's the problem with being attracted to intelligence a lot of times. Sometimes you can be attracted to a con artist and not even know you're attracted to a con artist, because con artists do have a high level of intelligence, to run the con games they run. So anytime, again, like I said before, there's a pro and a con to everything. So when we, whoever we are, we have to step outside of ourselves and be logical about what we're going to do. And so that way we can kind of protect ourselves, because it's natural for us to get into anybody. When I say us, it's natural for us to get into situations that are not very conducive, because we haven't weighed the pros and cons of doing what we naturally do, you know. So I think that people who are sapiosexuals do have more of a chance of getting with someone who is compatible with them versus a person who gets with somebody based on sexual attraction. I believe that people who are attracted to a person's intelligence really do have an upper hand on getting in a better relationship than somebody that's just basing their attraction on sexual desire. But in the end, we all still have pros and cons of being who we're attracted to. Because if you're attracted to a person of high-level intelligence and they are con artists and you don't realize it till it's too late, they probably are not only a con artist, they probably narcissists too. And you can be so caught up and mesmerized in their intelligence that you don't even see they just got you. You know, so you kind of got to be careful with that.
Okay. All right. I guess Big J got that question out. All right. Joshua, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? All right. Is this your guest tonight, Gary? This is the guest, right?
Yes, the guest.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to try to be as much as respectful as possible. My issue is that I heard her say, something about men are liars, and men have to lie to get, women, etc. And I can agree with that to a point. But I also agree that if men are liars, women love those liars. Because if women love the fact that men can – hold on, let me finish. If a woman is supposed to know, like she stated, that she knows when the man is lying, then therefore to me, someone who's kind of like a straight shooter at times, I say what I feel, and I got the same thought process as what you see is what you get with me, and therefore from my experience and what I'm saying, I say that humbly. From my own experience, I've seen guys lie. I know that some men are lying, but I know that some women love the fact that he is lying because she knows he's lying. But that's what I said earlier. Everybody knows that everybody has to lie, and everybody is lying. I didn't single guys out. I said women lie too. The dating pool is full of a bunch of liars. That just because I said men lie, I didn't say women didn't. Both of them are lying. And that's why I was displaced in the dating pool, because I don't lie and I don't have time to pretend to be something that I'm not. People are used to, and everybody likes to be lied to. It ain't just women that like to be lied to. Yeah, they absolutely do like to be lied to, but so do men. Everybody is so conditioned to be liars that this is what they want. So this is why a male will get upset. He will get upset for a woman lying to him about her appearance, by her putting on this appearance that attracts him biologically, and then he gets mad when she played the game. Because the reality is, you cannot successfully date without playing some kind of game, because the majority of people are playing some kind of game. It's very rare that you're going to run across somebody that is just, hey, look, I don't have time for the BS. Here's all of these issues. These are my issues. These are what I can do. This is what I can't do. Accept me for who I am. Boom. You're not going to get that. You got to drag people along and get them caught up in a web, and then hit them with something after they got their emotions tied in. Now they can't just easily walk away. That's just the reality of it. That's the reality of it, and everybody is doing it. So, yes, women do absolutely love lies. Yeah, but I think this is just my opinion here. I think in the sense that people tend to generalize, and we tend to try to put everybody in the same pot, and I think that's what people tend to run into some issues with. I don't think all people want to be liars. I don't think all people do lie in their relationship. That's my opinion, and it'll be done for me to make that assumption for all people because I haven't met all people. And I don't know all people's in their relationships. I don't know how some people approach their relationships. I don't know how some men approach the women in some cases, and I don't know how women deal with the men in their relationship. So to me, I wouldn't generalize all people as the same, as being that they're all lying.
Can I ask a question?
I don't know because I don't know all people. But at the same time, I think that.
Question?
Go ahead.
Does majority and all have the same definition? If I said the majority of the class made a, does the word majority and all have the same? Are they synonymous? If I said the majority of the class made a C on the test, did I just say that all people made a C on the test? Did I just say that when I said the majority of the class made a C?
No, but you said all people lie. That's what you're saying. That's what you said. You said all people lie.
No, I said the majority of the dating pool are liars. The majority of society has been conditioned to be liars. That's not
right. So I'm saying, even with the statement with the majority, I think this is my own opinion. I think that the issue would be that again, I'm still generalizing because even with the majority, you don't know, and I don't know all the majority.
But here's the thing: you have enough evidence. You have enough evidence.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you believe, that you got the evidence. If that's what you believe.
No.
But I don't believe that you have all the evidence, and I don't believe that I got all the evidence neither.
I didn't say, sir. I did not say that.
Okay.
The fact
Go
of
ahead.
the matter is, the majority of marriages fail. You can find that in the stats. The majority of these people are in these relationships. The majority of them are based in infidelity and finances. In infidelity, there must be lies. Okay? If the majority of people are failing in relationships and the number 1 and 2 reason is for infidelity and finances, that means there are lies. Okay? The fact of the matter is, watching television creates society. If television reflects society and society reflects the television, everybody, is being programmed on some level to believe in an ideal that is opposite of being real. So when people get into relationships, the majority of people are putting on a facade and a mask to pretend to be something they are not. That is a lie.
Okay, but listen to what I'm saying.
Yashua.
Can I say one more thing? Gary?
No, Yashua. Yeah, well, Yashua, hold on. We have the lines now starting to fill up now more and more, so I'm going to let you ask one last question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for having you on. What's your name, ma'am? I'm sorry. What's your name?
Princella.
Huh?
Princella, like Princess.
Okay.
Cinderella.
Well, I mean, thanks, Gary, for having her on, Gary. Again, I'm not necessarily with agreement with her, but I think it's good to hear her perspective. Again, I've met couples who've been married for 15 to 70 years, and I think that they would have a different outcome. Listen to our conversation. And so I think in all relationships, and like I said, I've met couples who've been together for 70 years. There was a couple I've met that have been together for about 70 years. And, I'd like to hear their take on this because they would probably say, well, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm still with my wife for 7 years. Now, I'm not saying what went on in that relationship. I don't know. But what I do know is that there are people who are in relationships that are genuine in their relationships. So that's all I'm saying.
I'm in a genuine relationship.
I'll back out.
I'm in a genuine relationship.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. If I'm in a genuine relationship, And a lot of times people don't understand how to be a scientist. A lot of people don't understand how to base their opinions off of what they see in the world versus basing an opinion off of what they doing with their own personal life. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This ain't got nothing to do with your individual relationship. This has to do with what you see in the population. So incorporating yourself and how you do things is irrelevant to making an observation off of what's going on in the majority of the crowd. Okay, so if I look into the crowd, I might be wearing a white T-shirt, but if I look into the crowd and I see a bunch of red T-shirts, I'm going to say the majority of this crowd is wearing red T-shirts. Well, everybody ain't wearing no red T-shirt. Look, I got on white. You ain't everybody, and I didn't say everybody had on a red T-shirt. I didn't say all people were wearing a T-shirt. I said the majority of the crowd is wearing red. So just because you're wearing white, and, well, you know what? We can't say everybody wearing red T-shirts because I'm wearing white. What that got to do with you? If 16 people out of 20 are wearing red, that means the majority of people are wearing red. And the majority rules. So, yes, a generalization, when you're generalizing, you're basically speaking on what the majority are doing and not speaking about outliers. The majority of people are not being married for 70 years. That is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
If the majority of the class is making a C, of course you're going to have a person who made 100 on the test. That person who made a 100 on the test does not reflect the majority of the class. You have one person who made an F on the test does not reflect the majority of the class.
Yep.
So we cannot make our assessments on outliers. The majority of people in relationships or in the dating pool are lying.
This is true. It's true. All right. Thank you, Joshua. All facts, you there? Okay. He's not ready. Okay. Let me open the next line. Caller, open your line. Who's this?
This is Adawa. And
Let me just open the
okay.
line. Open the line. Who's this?
What's going on, man? JNYC.
All right, good. Stay right there. Next line, open up. Who's this? Open your line.
Big OC, man. What's happening? Big OC, what's happening? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. All right, stay right there. And last but not least, is this ABC?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Sit back. All right, good evening, Miss Ottawa. How are you?
I am good, and I really appreciate the sister being online. I am in full agreement with you, young lady, and you are a breath of fresh air. And I think that what has been shared is a direct reflection of our lack of being able to build strong relationships. Communication. Truth is a major factor, and I had a lot of things I wanted to say, and now they seem to have left me, but I think you're right on point, and I really appreciate your voice tonight.
I appreciate that. You said something about communication, and that triggered me to say this. The majority of women cannot go to their husband and tell him that she desires to be with another man. But a lot of guys are so comfortable in their sexuality. I don't know how many guys. I can't say it's the majority. I can't say it's the minority. I just know that society has groomed males to be so comfortable with their sexuality that they can literally walk up to their woman and say, baby, I'm fantasizing about bringing an extra woman into my house. And
right.
A woman cannot do that, even
That's
if she
right.
desires. she cannot express her sexual desires, she has to repress herself to one stroke or comfort the ego of a male, okay, because she can't be honest, right? She can't.
Right.
I have a relative. This is how much people are comfortable with lies. I have a relative who is gets a divorce. Her marriage went down the drain because she told her husband that he needed to satisfy her more or do more in the bedroom so she could be satisfied because she wasn't being satisfied while he did his and she left sitting there. You know that ended their marriage? After she said that, do you think he tried to improve? No, his ego was shot so far that he literally didn't want to work on the marriage no more. He wanted her to leave. So her parents had to come and pick her up, and she in the process of getting a divorce, all because she was being honest with how she felt. Society is so comfortable with people lying that you can't even tell your spouse how you feel or what to do to even be sexually satisfied. But the male is so comfortable in his satisfaction or his sexuality because society allows him to be sexually explicit. He can say whatever it is he wants about sex. And nobody can bat an eye. Hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to flip upside down. Hey, can you bring 2 extra women in? She better not ever say that.
Yeah, you got a point. I'm gonna knock you for that one. But anyway, anything else? Sister Ottawa, other people have raised their hand.
Maybe later I'll have another comment.
All right, I'll wait to raise hand next time. All right, thank you. Okay, who's next?
All right.
JNYC. Let's see, man.
So
got
I
any
didn't
questions
catch.
for my guest?
Yeah, I didn't catch the whole thing. I caught a chunk of it, and I guess this is when she was speaking on. It was relationships. As far as not knowing who you getting with, so like you're supposed to know. As people make assumptions, that you're supposed to know somebody, and I agree with her. You don't know nobody. Most people put a different face. Most of us put our best impression first. As they say, everything in the beginning is beautiful, and then you start seeing who the person is later. So I think that's something natural from the majority of all human beings, of our character and how we want to impress in the very beginning. And I think that it's individually on how that person conducts themselves moving forward. For whatever reason, how people change up, or the face that we do, is that something that we do as, human beings just naturally, or is it something that we've picked up over, generations, or watching people, things like that. But I do agree with her that definitely, you don't really know nobody in the very beginning. We don't have mind reading detectors. We can't know what a person's really thinking. Yes, you could study body language and see certain things that, a personality might be even in the beginning that you pick up certain things. But there's sometimes that you don't. People, like they say, sometimes you don't know somebody that you thought you knew for a year, 5, 10. So, I mean, I think this is just like everything in life is like a gamble, So I think one of the biggest things that you gamble is in relationships, and that's why in life people have more than one relationship in their lifetime, where they're not just with one person. I mean, you do have those occasions where people meet very early and they stay together forever, and they haven't been with more than 1 or 2 people. But then you have a lot of people, for the most part, that, or I would say even the majority, that have, and when I say been with other people, I'm saying whether they dating, relationships, trying to meet people, Whether they intimate or not, that's a whole different story. But I'm just saying that you have a lot of people out there, excuse me, that, you know, they get into relationships and they get out of them because they're not compatible, or they met in the beginning, everything was great, and then it turned different later on. So, yeah, again, it's a 50-50 gamble. It's like Vegas. You shooting dice, and you hoping for the best. Of course, you try to look out for all the warning signs and all everything, but sometimes there ain't no warning signs. So, you know, life is, you know, is unpredictable, and relationships can be unpredictable because you hear a lot of crazy cases where you say, and this isn't all, you know, backgrounds. You know, here in America, you know, American, whether you're white or black or Hispanic, whatever. I'm just saying that we have this problem that happens in probably every nationality, where you have domestic violence, you have, you know, in severe cases where people get into relationships and, you know, one ends up dead, whether a man or woman. Most of the time is the woman, you know, where there's abuse and stuff like that. Sometimes you don't hear nothing. Oh, there was a beautiful couple, and all of a sudden you hear that the man snapped or whatever, you know, and vice versa. So this is things that we don't know, because you say, well, there was a happy couple. Sometimes they had some internal things you didn't know about, but they knew about, and sometimes they didn't even know about it. Sometimes a man could snap. Sometimes the woman thought that this man was, you know, the best thing in the world, and all of a sudden, you know, he changed up overnight. Shit happens, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's a 50-50 gamble. We all always learning as human beings, and that's all I can say. So I agree with what she said.
All right, thank you.
All right. There you go. Thank you.
All right. Respect. All right. Big OC, you there?
Yeah.
Hey,
Gary.
Do you have
questions? Can you give me a quick overview? Can you give me a quick overview? I mean, I've been hearing, you know, what they're talking about, but you know, Joshua, you know, he always starts an argument.
Guys,
so I lose.
Because of the time already, let's sit back though. I'm gonna let you talk, not right now, because I have 2 more through that, right? I'm looking to see if they have questions. After, I'll go back to just for the rundown. Is that fair? Because this is my guest, and I already got most of the time ready. All right. Did you give it like a full rundown?
Let me just ask my question then, or let me just give my statement. And what she was talking about, people lying, or the majority of people lying in relationship. You know what I learned is they're just having one person. To me, my own opinion, dealing with one person is easy. And I know we all have our fantasies. There's so much stimulus out there in the world, but what I made sure of is that I had a partner who was willing to put in the work, right, and understands that it's going to take work for this thing to be a success. You know, especially as we get older. And you know what I understand a lot of times and see in the world is a lot of men. They do get to go off and leave that woman sometimes after she's changed, you know, maybe she's lost some hair and they're able to go off and find a younger woman and kind of start over again, or pretty much as many times as they can get a new young woman, but it's never the same, or it's usually not the same for the woman when she gets to that age to just go out there and have men be attracted to her, you know, or such. So I just understand that it takes work in a relationship, and when you begin to lie, I think that's just part of humans being afraid of, you know, confrontation and being let down and being checked, or having somebody know that you got flaws. So people would rather just lie and rather just play the lie out, and regardless of understanding in the end how the lie is going to affect the other person. You know, so I believe it gets to a point where some people just don't care, because you think about it, you've had a lot of people have had 4, 5, 6, 7 boyfriends or girlfriends in their lives, and that's in the past. Yeah, they had intimate feelings while they were together, but what did that really mean? You know, how many people did you say I love you to, and I really love you, I want to be with you for the rest of my life? If you ain't with that person, then those were lies. You know what I'm saying? And you may have felt like you felt that at the time, but what does that really mean? I want to be with you for the rest of my life, but you ain't together no more. So I think we say a lot of things to try and please our partner and keep ourselves in a particular standing in a relationship. But once again, being truthful is difficult, and accepting truth is difficult at the same time. The lie feels good. And to touch on real quick, when she says the woman wanting to bring telling the man she's not satisfied, I just wonder the context in that, because if I got 10 inches, what is she telling me? She wants 12, or is it she wants to be held, or does she want more foreplay in the beginning?
She's not having no orgasms. Like, he get his, and then he leaves her there. And so,
so he ain't lasting long enough.
So she expressed that she needs him to do more so she can be satisfied, and his ego gets shot down. So it's like, okay, if a man wanted more satisfaction, society grooms him to be comfortable in his sexuality. Society don't shame no man for being sexual. So he feels it's comfortable and okay to ask his woman for what he wants. Society has programmed everybody to be ashamed of female sexuality, so the female can't even be comfortable speaking her sexuality. But when you get a female who is, the male is so not used to that it shoots his ego down. So you literally got to walk on eggshells. With a lot of these dudes, you can't even turn these dudes down, because a lot of times these guys act like they're entitled to have a woman. It's on the news now. Dude killed this 19-year-old college student for not responding to his cat calls. So it's like
that sounds like Elliot Rogers type shit. I mean, tough stuff. Sorry, Anderson. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, a lot of times when I make commentary, a lot of times people get so wrapped up into the commentary, believing that it's a reflection on my individual life. People are so used to making commentary based on themselves that they have no concept of a person making commentary that ain't got nothing to do with themselves. Because when I speak, it ain't got nothing to do with my personal life. I'm in a happy marriage. My husband works, take care of the house. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm working on running a business and stuff. So my commentary has absolutely nothing to do with my personal life. It has everything to do with what I'm observing in reality. And so I make my commentary based on my observations. And what I observe in so many dynamics is that people have to lie to get into any type of relationship. They're lying to get in the relationship to begin with. But once you lie to get in it, it's very difficult to stop your habit of lying. And so, the lies continue. And people expect the lies. Like my cousin, her husband expected her to lie about her sexual satisfaction with him.
Wow. That is just crazy. That's crazy. I was blown away. I have no answer to that, man. Real, for real. But Big OC, I want to get to the next caller. Good now?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. Now, ABC, what's your question onto the stream? You can add on to your question.
All right. Yeah. So I wanted to tell the sister, I talk quite a bit about relationships and stuff, and the family is the big thing to me. And I'm in the same situation you're in. I'm married. My wife's stay-at-home mother, and I go out and make the money and stuff. I get a lot of pushback on this. Nobody, well, no, I can't say nobody. The majority, at least here on the show when they call in, don't fall in line with that idea of how me and you are living. And what I take away is that there's not much of people aren't definitive on what a man and a woman is. Guys aren't comfortable in their manhood. Women aren't comfortable in their womanhood. And another thing is, now, I put a lot on the guys because I say if we was handling the business, then everything would be good. But aside from that, though, these sisters, and I talk a lot about this, and I get a lot of flack. The sisters dressing like, half their breasts out. They wearing all this tight stuff, showing half of everything. It ain't too much left to the imagination. And guys, put it bluntly, we just kind of, like dogs. It looks like you sexual. It looks like you're going to give it up, so I'm all on it. And then once I get it, that's what I was trying to get. I don't want to wife you because you look like you out there for everybody. But, so these are problems, I think, that impact the relationships. And I wonder what you thought about that.
I was so glad. That was so refreshing that how you started this thing that nobody has a definitive definition of manhood. And
right.
You are so right. Like I'm in total agreement with you on everything, especially because I was really hard on the guys as well. And, guys don't really take it well from a female because at the end of the day, it's all about perception. It ain't even about what you're saying. It's about who it's coming from. And so it's
that's
like,
what it is. That's what it is.
Like if manhood is subjective, exactly how in the hell do you expect a woman to know what a man is if you all don't even have an absolute definition of what it is? If it varies from man to man or male to male, then it ain't no such thing as manhood because all y'all got your own definition, which is based on when you talk about you need a real man, what you're really saying is you need me. You need to stop choosing guys that ain't like me. That's basically what they're saying, since there is no absolute definition on manhood. And I ran a test before, and I asked guys, what does it mean to be? I'm telling you, none of them could really tell me. But outside of that, as far as the dynamics of women dressing a certain way, you got to understand what people believe in the United States is oppression is actually not. The United States is probably one of the best places on the planet in a way because it gives you free reign to build something. But the con to that is the United States allows people to operate in their ungoverned nature. More specifically, black folks. Black people think they're being oppressed by whites, but it's not true. White people are giving black people the free reign to operate in their ungoverned, uncultivated biological nature. This is how you end up with households with chicks with multiple baby daddies and stuff like that. That's how you end up with sexual irresponsibility and all of this because we're allowed to operate without no rules. Okay? So when you see a woman dressed a certain way, you have to know that the biological nature of a woman is to be desired by a man. This is the part that the man don't understand. The woman's nature is to be desired by men. So the male believes that if he marries a woman, that her biological nature of being desired by men is supposed to disappear. Oh, no, you just ramped it up by marrying somebody.
Because once you marry a woman and then you get her pregnant, that desire skyrockets because she still wants to know that she's being desired by other men. And if you do not put your woman first and you do not continue to nurture that biological nature, this is how you end up with cheaters. This is how you end up with women stepping out, because people don't understand how the biological nature works. So since a woman her nature is to be desired, she's going to do what it takes to be desired by guys. And what are guys showing her that they're interested in? Her body. Her body. Not her mind, not her quality, not her capabilities, not her personality. They only interested in her for the way she looks. So guess what she's going to do? She's going to give into her biological nature and do exactly what it is that you desire. This is why you can put a picture
and end up single.
of a nice. This is how you put a picture of a woman that's cute but got degrees and got a job and put in a whole bunch of work ethic to get where she is, and it don't get that many likes. Not from that dude.
Right.
But put an ass picture up there with a thin waist, and you get 1 million likes. Well, there's what you call in Psychology 101 positive reinforcement.
Right.
What happens when you positively reinforce something? You get a behavior, and the behavior that a person prefers gets rewarded.
But sister,
negative reinforcement.
Wait. Wait. Let me say this. I don't want you to cut her off because I like when you go in, Princella. I want you to finish. But one thing I do want to entwine. I remember doing a stream months ago with the Aisha Curry situation, and she said at person that she lacks the attention. And I devoted that stream on it, and I had to reflect back. Me and the great liberator, Mary Brown, talk about it, say, a woman has to act on her biological needs.
Mm-hmm.
This is you've proven that well down.
And people might not like it, but here's the thing. This is the thing. When guys speak about their biological nature, they want women to accept them in their biological nature, but a lot of them don't want to accept the reality of the female biological nature. They don't. So it's like this. If people just accept how things are, not the way they want them to be, I can promise you that there may be some improvement on how humans deal with each other. But because we're trying to force people into these unrealistic, going against biological nature ideals, you end up with a bunch of dissatisfied people on the planet because everybody's hopes and desires exist in fantasy land. And when reality presents itself that goes against your fantasy ideal, you now are hurt. You're now upset because things ain't going the way that you want them to go or the way you believe they should go. No, you deal with the world in the way it is. And so I'm going to say this. I'm into Forex. I'm not sure if people know what Forex is.
I was going to ask you that at the end of the stream about that.
Right. So I trade currency. The majority of people fail when you trade currency. And the reason why they fail is because they try to go against nature. They try to go against the nature of the market. They try to go against their own psychological nature. They try to go against so many things, and they get stumped in this market. So it's like, if you can't master reality, you're not going to master something like trading currencies because you don't have no control over the nature of that market. You have to accept the way the market is and roll and deal with the way the market shows you that it deals with it. And you have to have risk management. Well, guess what? A lot of people go in life without managing their risks at all. You can't go into the Forex market and not manage your risks, because when you lose all your money, you're going to be distraught. When you go out and you have sex with multiple people and then you mess around and get a disease that you can't get rid of, or kids that you didn't want, and now you're on child support and now you got to take care of a child by yourself, you did not manage your risk. And so life, as well as the Forex market, is all about risk management and accepting the nature of the beast that you're dealing with. You have to accept that. Stop trying to make the market do what you want it to do. Stop trying to make people do what you want them to do. Accept that and work around it so that way you can be successful in dealing with people, so you can be successful in dealing with the market. Everything is the same no matter what you apply it to. But when it comes to the female, here's the thing. Society, this is where it's bad. Society has programmed men and women to despise female sexuality so much that a male is not even comfortable in himself exploring the nature of a female. He don't want to listen to her. He's not really comfortable with really exploring her body. It's so many things that society has done, not to only screw up the female, but to screw the male up in his thinking process too, which is a factor in relationships not working.
Hey, can I just tie this up, just to end my part on it? And I appreciate you taking the call, Gary, and I appreciate the sister. I really think that you got a lot to offer. I like what you're saying. But to wind it up to the part about society, I think that this is the issue, and I believe that it's not that the people are driving the society and driving the media. I think that the media and whatever, there's an agenda that's driving the people. And what I mean by that is all this hypersexuality, sex is natural. So we all want sex. That's, women want sex, men, this is built into us. This is natural. But it's when we talk about relationships and marriage, now we're talking about a maturity. At the point that you start thinking about marriage, now, you still want sex. That's always, forever. Until you get so old. But that's a given. You want sex. But when you talk about marriage, there's some other stuff you're supposed to be thinking about. And the issue that this society has pushed in arrested development. We never get old. We want to screw all day. Men and women, there ain't no difference in the gender. You do this, I do this. We all the same and all this kind of shit. So this is why the stuff is all crazy like it is now. And, there's a lot of sex going on. Everybody having sex. But we ain't got no families. All these kids growing up without daddies in the home and all this kind of stuff because there's no maturity. We are ruled by our basic animal instinct. It's like we a bunch of kids around here. So, and the last thing with it is we're both affected. We're both affected, right? The brothers and the sisters. Because brothers, you want a good woman, you want to have a family and all that stuff, but all you see is these Instagram girls out there. Everybody trying to get like that because they trying to, like you said, they want to be appreciated and all this stuff. For the women, you want a good man that's going to take care of you.
I don't mean to mess you up, right, to cut you off, but I wanted to say this while you said that. You know that the male is so illogical. Here's the thing. Now, biologically, it's a biological, natural thing that women get more attention than men, right? So when you go on a dating app, the female can put a picture up and she gets a slew of guys, right? Mm-hmm. Somehow the male believes that the woman is supposed to choose one guy out of like 1,000 options. And she's supposed to make the absolute correct decision out of 1,000 options. But when it comes to him, and he finally gets that is in that same position, he can't do what he's telling the woman to do. You can't even pick one out of 1,000 options because you got too many. It's too many for you to even make a real clear decision without chopping down a lot. So what happens is you end up being a kid in a candy store. Well, since the female is not biologically wired for monogamy, it's also the same thing that she's a kid in a candy store with all of these options to choose from. It's too many.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much stimuli being thrown at people who don't operate at the top of Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. The majority of people don't even know what Maslow's hierarchy of human needs are. And self-actualization, which is where you get your morality from, where you're talking about family and stuff, that is at the top of Maslow's hierarchy. And to get to the top of Maslow's hierarchy requires stability in your biological nature before you can get to full mind operation. The majority of people do not operate from a mind mentality. They operate from a biological nature in their base animalistic form, which is eating, sleeping, excrement, sex, food, water, entertainment. That's it. That's where the majority of people operate. It takes a whole bunch to get to that top because marriage is not a natural concept. That's a man-made societal concept. And it takes a whole bunch of effort. It takes a whole bunch of effort to go against your biological nature and live up to a societal ideal that's not even real in the first place.
All right.
Wow,
all right.
That was deep right there. That was deep right there.
Yeah. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this final call. I'm gonna end this and call it a night. So let me see who's the last person that called.
Miss Clark, this is Big J yet again. But earlier in our conversation with you, you said that men with discipline are ones that goes against nature, right?
Let's say that one more time.
You said that men who are very disciplined, they go against their urges, right?
No, I said they go against nature. Okay, so here, what do I mean by that? Like I explained to you earlier, if you're sleepy, it's natural for you to stay in the bed and sleep until you're not sleeping no more, right?
Okay.
That's natural, right?
Right.
It takes a lot of willpower and a lot of discipline that if you ain't had no sleep in 2 days to get up after only having 3 hours worth of sleep.
Right.
It takes a bunch of discipline to go against your nature to stay asleep until you're not sleeping no more. It takes a bunch of discipline to not eat when you're hungry.
Right.
It takes a bunch of discipline to build a company. You know how much do you have to go against your nature to build a Fortune 500 company? You can't do what the average person can do.
Correct.
And just operate. You have to operate in a structured mentality that denies your human nature. When you don't feel like doing something, you have to do it anyway. So a person with discipline.
And wouldn't that fit your definition of what a man is? A man, because
I never told you what a man was. I said a disciplined person. I never said what manhood and womanhood was. Nobody even asked me that.
Then would it be a let's just say part of manhood is discipline? Would that be a part of manhood?
Yes. But it's
okay. I'm glad that you said that because hold on. Because the way I see it, is
I couldn't hear it.
Say what?
I want to repeat what you said. Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said woman and manhood are the same. See, males are under the impression that just because your dick get bigger when you turn 15, 16, and you get you a piece of punani, and you turn 21, somehow they believe that makes them men. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because if you really believe that, then you can't fault no female for getting with a dude that she thinks is a man. Because if your definition is all you got to have is a penis to be a man, then that ain't much requirement at all. Because
okay, and the reason why I asked you that, ma'am, and the reason why I'm asking you that is because there is this notion that if you're married, you're supposed to look at women who are not your wife wearing yoga pants and having titty meat hanging out. Because that me, I don't look at that because I believe in discipline. I believe in that good old Christian discipline. I believe in that discipline, not to be lustful all the time, not to think about sex all the time. That takes discipline. And that's manhood. That's a practice of manhood when you are practicing discipline. Thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely. Because, and a lot, I've said this so many times over the course, and the first thing a dude will say, you ain't no man, you can't tell me what it is to be a man. I say, okay, well, you tell me the qualities and characteristics of being a man. I mean, exclude having a penis and testosterone, because that's literally the only thing that makes you different from any other human being walking. Tell me what it is to be a man, because I can tell you it ain't changing no tires, because goddamn it, I can change a tire. Okay? Hell, I had to change a tire on a hit. So am I a man because I can change a tire? Explain. The majority, nobody, not one person, not one male that's slinging a penis could tell me what manhood is. I said, you know what? I spent 8 years in the military, and I was a first lieutenant when I got out. I have more experience and more knowledge on what it takes to be a man than you do, okay? And first and foremost, manhood is a societal concept. It is not biological. Being a man or a woman is not biological. It is sociological. It is gender-based. You are born either male or female. You become, these are the categories I put it in. I said you have boy, male, and man. A boy is a male child who knows he doesn't know. He's moldable, he's teachable, okay? You can cultivate that. He's thirsty for knowledge. But the male child or the boy can become one of two things. He can grow up to be a male, adult male, or he can grow up to be a man. An adult male is a male who has reached sexual, biological maturity. That is it. His existence is purely biological. There is no concept of morality. There is no concept of structure in this person. He is just a male who operates at the lowest form of his biological nature, and this person eats, sleep, drink, shit, fuck, and live for entertainment. That's what that person is, an adult male. A man, on the other hand, is an adult male who has been cultivated into self-actualization. Okay? Mm-hmm. He has been taught to accept personal responsibility. The first and foremost thing that a man does, if manhood is equivalent to leadership, then you have to tell me what are the qualities and the characteristics of a leader. Well, the first thing is leadership is based solely or purely on acceptance of responsibility. If a male does not accept responsibility, he cannot be a leader, because that's the first prerequisite of being a leader, is accepting responsibility. You got a bunch of males out here who are happy to engage in their biological nature, but do not want to accept accountability and responsibility for their actions.
Exactly.
The consequences are a part of your behavior. Any male who blames anybody else, whether you blaming white folks, whether you blaming a female for your actions, you're not a man. You're not a leader. You are simply a male who is operating on his biological nature. That's void of any personal accountability, void of any form of self-actualization. These are people, and once a male hits the age of 21 without ever being cultivated into manhood, this person has no room for growth. And the reason why this person has no room for growth is because he's lost the innocence of what it meant to be a boy. See, once you hit 21 and you start telling people they're grown-ass men and grown-ass women, they can't learn nothing else. They think they know it all.
Oh.
Once you know everything, you stop learning. And these people stop learning. So I was in the military. I started out, I didn't go in as a commissioned officer. I started out as an E3, private. I became a first lieutenant, okay? But once I got my bar, I had to go in as an officer candidate in the school. Before I can become a butter bar, I had to go and get trained and pass the course before I could get there. But once I got commissioned as a second lieutenant, that didn't mean that I was superior to the NCO that's been in for 18 years. Even though he ain't an officer, he done been an E5, he done been in the military for 18 years as a non-commissioned officer. Does that give me more power over that person with all that experience? No, because just because I'm now commissioned as a second lieutenant, I still got to go first lieutenant, still got captain, still got full bird lieutenant. You got lieutenant colonel, you got 1-star general, 2-star general. I'm a E1. I'm a private again. When males turn 21 and females turn 21, because of biology saying that, okay, you are a sexually mature adult now, these folks really think they done made it to some level of proficiency. Baby, you are E1. You are a private. That's why you have senior citizens. Senior, they've been in this game longer than you.
Hey, Gary.
There's so much to learn, but these people can't learn nothing.
Let me do this. All right. You know, Princess, we have had such a lovely evening, and this is a very stimulating and a very, actually very reasonable show. This is, I guess when I go back to playback and people go back to this, they're going to learn something, you know, because I think you laid well out. And, you know, from your own channel and through Facebook, I could see why you are, and this is me, my opinion, well-known and popular, that people don't know or hear about you. They will, you know, and, you know, you don't really need the help of Chaos Marine to really help people with Princella Clark. In yourself, you already explain what you are and what you bring, you know. And that's what I make the conscious decision, you know, to find people out here just, you know, with different outlooks and takes on reality and about the situation. And I could have gone into about, you know, current events with you and stuff, but I feel, you know, maybe we should do that next time, have you back on a future show. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, but I think I learned a lot today, and I think a bunch of my callers that normally call got I like on tonight's stream. So, you know, I will end tonight's stream here. Tell everybody that's listening where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Princella Clark. You can type in you can type that in, Princella, Princella. You might find a couple of profiles. All of them are mine. You can find me on YouTube,
at Princella's Real World. I'm over there as well.
All right. Excellent. All right. Ottawa, you're going to have to probably contact next time. Thank you again, Princella Clark, for coming on as my guest. Thank everybody for listening to tonight's stream. And always, be on the lookout. This show will be uploaded on my channel very soon. Like always, please like, share, comment on T.R.S. And I'd like to see your feedbacks. But until next time, take care now. Good night.
All right. Good night.
And this was another edition, another broadcast from Chaos Rain Channel. Comment, subscribe, and like the video. And also follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Let chaos reign.
Let me know when you're ready, Gary.